Hi, my name is A Natural Mystic and I'm bouncing back. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time watching me, I would like to say first of all thank you for taking the time. Secondly, please feel free to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and sometimes even the notification. I'm not here every single day or every week, but I do keep you all updated with my journeys and my progress. And forgive me if I am not looking at my camera properly because I've moved it. So here we go, trying to do this properly. So this is part two, menopause. Last conversation I had with you all was literally about the hot and severely cold flushes. It was a little bit warmer in regards to the temperature outside, and I thought that that may have also had a contributing factor in regards to what it is. So loads of messages coming from my phone. I've turned it off, and loads of sort of things have been happening and developing over the last few weeks since I last vlogged. And yeah, so I've been experimenting with diet, should we say, and trying to eliminate the things that I think have contributed to the hot flushes. And meanwhile, on my journey, I've done a lot of extensive reading and found a few other women that have been going through what it is I'm going through. So I definitely don't feel alone. But I do think it's something that we do need to discuss more openly and share how we're sort of feeling, so people have a natural sort of understanding as to what is to come as they get older, but also the environment around us maybe treats us differently for a short period of time, which is not much to be asked, but just for people to be considerate. It's a bit like having depression, where you don't want to tell anybody because you feel like you're going to be treated differently, especially your employees or friends and family around you, and they may sort of see things in you that they don't quite understand. So very, very similar experience for myself going through the menopause. So just having a look at some of the symptoms that we've got here, right? This is mad. This is mad. Mood swings, lack of focus, and a foggy memory. Hence why I've had to put this on a list and write it down, because I would not have remembered half of these things. Unexplained weight gain. Now, that is an interesting one because I do try to eat healthily. I don't eat often, which is an issue, my own personal thing. But I have found that when the weight comes, it's firmer. It kind of sits there like it wants to stay. And I'm gonna do my best to maintain that comfortable weight. Anything above sort of 9 stone for me, any more than sort of 65, 60 kilos roughly, something like that. Anything more than that, I really feel heavy, and it feels like my body isn't designed to carry that sort of weight or extra weight. So I do try and maintain, even if it's like a size 10, size 12, not people going, you what? But I'm only 5'2", so therefore any excessive weight looks excessive quite quickly on me. So that's why I'm trying to sort of do detoxes and reduce my sugar intake, drink more water, and all that sort of stuff, just to keep things flowing through me. So thinning hair, as you all know, or some of you don't know if you're new to my channel, I have started to document regrowing my hairline journey, and I've not updated that story as yet, as I'm just giving it everything a chance to sort of do what it needs to do, so the next time I actually do record something there, hopefully I will see a difference and you'll also see a difference also. So we know about the hot flushes and extremely hot and then extremely cold, because your body is trying to balance itself out. So I think of myself as a car engine, where you have to put oil, water and petrol or fuel in it to keep it going, and if those balances aren't right in the vehicle, it coughs and it splutters and it jerks, that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have a smooth ride, and that's kind of how I think of my body at the moment. I have to put in the right amount of oil, the right amount of fuel, and the right amount of water in order to keep certain things functioning and like hormone levels balanced. And so these hot flushes They don't go away, but they're not as severe at the moment. Low sex drive. Mm, can't really say very much there on that note. Don't have a partner. I've been single for quite some time. I have been seeing someone, had been, is what I said, had been seeing someone a little while ago. I wouldn't say that I had a low sex drive, but the symptoms of being premenopausal slash menopausal affected our sexual interaction. um, he didn't quite understand what was going on, and I didn't at that point, and I tried to explain, and didn't seem as if he actually cared. So we left that alone. Basically, I learned to care about myself more, is what it is that I'm trying to say, and didn't need a man to validate, but I did think it was important for him to maybe understand what was happening with my body and maybe with other women he's going to be meeting due to our age. And maybe he needs to be a little bit more compassionate and a little bit more sensitive, perhaps. Something to discuss another time, I think. So migraines, definitely have suffered with like short, sharp migraines. They don't last really long periods of time anymore. I did suffer with a benign brain tumor, so I think that sometimes my brain thinks that it's my tumor that's given me a headache, but it may potentially have been the menopause. So for me, that's a little bit of a difficult one, but I do find that drinking loads of water, herbal teas, reducing my caffeine, milk intake, and sugar intake has really helped with the headaches and the dizzy spells and the fogginess in general. And it doesn't feel like my blood's claggy going around my body. It definitely feels fluid, like things are moving. And that's definitely due to the amount of water that I'm drinking. So thyroid issues, fortunately for me, touch wood, I don't want to claim that. Don't think I've had an issue there. So in the past, I don't think I've had those issues. Those things have been checked through blood tests and whatnot. So I'm just going to leave that. But that is one of the symptoms. Cholesterol disorders. And again, I think because I changed my diet quite some time ago and my parents were Rushto and I was brought up around ITIL food and not much meat and certain things, I think that fortunately my cholesterol levels aren't something that I really have had to be concerned about, and I'm very much conscious of heart conditions and strokes and that sort of thing, because nobody in my family's really had those issues, because I think we've always generally looked after ourselves. So that's something that I can be proud of. That's been passed on to me. Heart disease is another symptom. I don't have a heart disease. I have a small heart murmur, which then a slightly irregular heartbeat, but that was something I was born with. So again, it does sort of fluctuate maybe a little bit more occasionally now with the menopause, but it doesn't deter me from living life or stop me from doing anything, basically, which I can be really pleased about. Osteoporosis, yeah, definitely something that I am going to be more aware of as I get older. Got very dense bones. I've recently injured a bone in my hand and it's taken a really long time to heal, and I really have a bad back, which is then affecting my hip. So I do want to make sure that I do go and have my back checked out more so than anything, and just keep an eye on bones. So vitamin D, folic acid, there are things that you can use throughout your life, and as a youngster as well, or a young woman, you can use those things as well. You don't have to wait until you're premenopausal or menopausal to actually start helping yourself in regards to bones strength and bone density, bone structure, and that sort of thing, so which can affect you as you get older. And also sitting right, standing right also helps with posture. So that basically will eliminate back issues, and like core stomach exercises, which keeps you strong in general, would also help with a bone wear and tear if your muscles are strong. Chronic fatigue and lack of energy, definitely something I have felt. Definitely, especially with the weather changing, clocks changing. I do suffer with that disorder called SAD, seasonal associated disorder, because due to the lack of light. But what I have noticed is, believe it or not, that my ring light does actually help me feel um, sort of more upbeat, should we say, throughout periods throughout the week when I'm doing recordings or when I'm on a Zoom, when I have to use a green screen. I do find that if I use a certain type of lighting, it does give me a bit of energy. However, I don't like to sit and stare at it for too long, because I do find I wear glasses occasionally, and it does really play with my how I feel. I find that my ring light makes me feel a little bit unbalanced after sitting with it in front of me for long periods of time. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to go out to my little day job. So I do sort of get the majority of the daylight that is possible at this time of year. So yeah, but having a warm, bright light in your home definitely helps with energy, and having a regular sleeping pattern where possible, around the hot flashes. But I find that that's why I'm suffering with fatigue, is because of my irregular sleep pattern and the insomnia because of the hot flashes. So I can understand why I'm tired. But again, water, nutrients, rest consistently, where possible, and try your damnedest to get that 6, 7, 8 hours of rest every day, whether you're a night worker or a day worker. But at some point, try and just wind down and switch everything off. Breathing exercises also really helps if I'm feeling fatigued during the day, and just stopping for a few moments and actually going through breathing exercises and really filling my body up with as much oxygen as possible, and then literally blowing out the tiredness, emptying my body of that dead breath, if that makes sense, or that tired breath, and inhaling as much outdoor fresh air as possible. That really does help. Fibromyalgia, I know a lot of women have suffered with throughout their adult life. From youngness, there is no age determination for certain things, and that can also affect fertility in some instances, or not actually affect infertility per se, but the conception and carrying a child long term, and it does cause pain. Yeah, I do know. So but I can just say that's one of the symptoms, but it's not something that I was ever diagnosed with. So I can't say that I didn't suffer with it or didn't have it. It was something that I wasn't diagnosed with as an adult. Leaky bladder syndrome. No, I'm quite happy. Not yet, but there's a reason for that. Ever since I was young, my mum always said to me, don't hold on to your urine too long. When you are actually urinating, I do the stop-start process. I know that sounds really weird, but I let it come naturally when I'm sitting. And then midway through, when it's like quite a heavy flow, I just try and close the bladder off and stop it, and grip all of the pelvic muscles and the vulvar muscles, so everything is kind of like together and shut off, so the urine stops, so there's no drips. And I try and hold that for a period of maybe 3, 5, 7 seconds, and then I release it again. So I'm just practicing contracting and sort of releasing the muscle. Pelvic floor exercises are vitally important, regardless of whether you've had a child or not. As a woman, that whole area, learning how to utilize your womb, utilize your bladder, and look after it. So not holding on to a full bladder is the first thing. I've never had to get up to go to the toilet during the night, because I make sure I go to the toilet before I go to bed. Anything that I may drink fluid-wise through the night, my body generally absorbs, because that means I'm thirsty, and I only filter out what toxins I need to, and then get up and go to the toilet naturally in the morning. So that's something I can gladly say that I have got under control, or had a control from a very young age. I know that I could have actually got quite a big bladder. I don't know if anyone's noticed how much they can drink before they go to the toilet, before it feels like it's bulging. But that's also something I would suggest that you don't do, is actually hold on to your urine to the point where your bladder feels like it's bulging, and then you've got to kind of do the dance. Now that does happen to me occasionally, because I work in a van, out and about delivery driving. So when I do need to go to the toilet, it's not always convenient, because I'm out and about. So it does become a little bit of a battle sometimes towards the end of my shift if I drank a lot throughout the day, especially while I've been out and about driving. So that explains it basically. So I know what not to do and how to keep down there healthy in regards to going to the toilet. And then you might suffer with the odd UTI. And again, that's because holding on to the urine, not being able to hold on to the urine, all the different hormones are changing in the body. There are different levels of bacteria down there as well, different levels of, bacteria in the body. Things you eat can affect you. Intercourse, sometimes you become allergic to Durex or condoms, or down there gets a little bit dry and doesn't want to cooperate at certain times, so you may have to use lubricants, and all of these different things can create UTIs down there. So again, yoni health, yoni education, the JJ, whatever you want to call it. My mum used to call it a mumpsy. That's what I used to call it, my mumpsy. I don't know why, where that word came from, but I really still actually like calling it a mumpsy. Nobody else really needs to know what that means, and it takes away the embarrassment, I think, of speaking about the bits. Next recording on the menopause is gonna be sort of the skin conditions that I'm finding that I'm suffering with, or not suffering with, or just the differences in my skin and the things that I'm trying to use to maintain this natural healthy glow. But I have noticed a huge difference in my skin. So the reason why I'm smiling, because this for me is a positive. However, some people may experience a slightly more negative part of their journey when it comes to their skin and their hair and their nails and that sort of thing. So hopefully these videos and hopefully these recordings and blogs help. And somewhere in here you could see that, acceptance is the biggest thing. I will speak about my denial in other ways and how I've managed to get to this point and doing it with a smile on my face rather than crying. So I think I've been here long enough, and I hope you've enjoyed the information that has been put out. And like I said, I don't blog and vlog every single day, but I'm also on Instagram, I'm also on Facebook, and I also tweet occasionally, and believe it or not, I'm on Snapchat. So I'll eventually add some tags and stuff below so you lot can follow me and find me in other places and other areas. So much appreciated for being here. And yeah, I might even come with a guest next time. I think that might be quite interesting to have a conversation with somebody who's maybe just at the beginning of their journey, and maybe somebody who's further along in the journey, so we can have a balanced conversation, so we can kind of warn each other as what's coming, what to look out for, and then yeah, get some positivity and love and light at the end of it, to think that it may be end of something, but it could be the beginning of something as well. So like I said, I'm off ski, got a day ahead to work, going out in my little van, and much appreciated. Speak to you all real soon. Take care. Bye.